Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's get this going. Hey everyone, welcome to House Meeting Podcast. We are a podcast about Big Brother, which if you're listening, I'm sure you already know that, but I'm here to tell you again. Today I have with me Ellen and Sam, and we are going to discuss this week's episode. I would say that this is probably the 5th week in a row I've said this where a lot happened and nothing happened. So this should be fun. If you are listening now, then you already know this, but tell your friends to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. We are on YouTube, which is fun. You can watch us live on YouTube if you feel like it. We are also on Instagram and Twitter, and that's usually where we're going to announce when we are live. Any feedback that you have can go to housemeetingpodcast@gmail.com, or if you want to go to our website at housemeetingpod.com, we have a little form fill in there that you can fill out your questions, your annoyances, your love for us, hopefully, any of that stuff. So podcasts also, just so everyone knows, they're free to you. They're not free to us. If you have any extra change in your pocket and you're enjoying us, we would love a small donation at patreon.com/housemeeting. So you guys, I'm not even going to just wait till Thursday's episode. Let's just say goodbye to Davon. That was so sad. I don't have a nice song for her, although I should have. What would be Davon's song? I mean,
I don't know.
She's a queen too, but she's like a different queen. She's like a tiger queen, if that makes sense. like she's like
very appropriate for this week.
Yeah, going on theme with the video competition this week. The Tiger Queen.
I don't know. Like Janelle is like, I don't know. Janelle's like a leopard queen, and Davon is a tiger queen. I don't know what any of that means.
What?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a song that we can say goodbye to.
Brick House.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it was
because she went out very strong. I thought. Like, I mean, she was so.
She did.
Yeah.
And we will definitely need to talk about her speech and all of that. But gosh, I'm just. It's hard to not just bring it up at the beginning, but like that was rough to see her go, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I mean, it's been a lot of weeks of just being like, that was rough. Wow, that was rough.
It really has. I don't know. It
was a really tough week.
And they always try to play it in the narration. They're like, this is the week that the committee starts fraying at the seams.
Yeah.
And then they all vote together pretty much. I mean, this week it was a little bit different, but.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it does. And like, I feel like a clown. Every week I feel like I'm saying, well, you know, after this, they're going to have to start going after each other.
I know. And then they never do
yet. So,
all right, you guys. It's for Sam. This is a good idea. She is. She's a brick house, man. She's not going to be blown over. I don't know. What are the lyrics to this song?
I believe you're referencing the Three Little Pigs.
Yeah, basically. Whatever, you guys. This is Davon's song. I'm happy for her. I think that she did what she came into the house to do. You know, like, I wanted her to win. I kind of have a feeling she's going to get America's Favorite Player.
Yeah.
I think she's made a statement and CBS aired it, which has never happened before. Yeah. So I think that that's really cool. But I guess let's talk about the week in general, and then we'll get back to Davon specifically. But Sunday night's episode, I don't know if I was in just a bad mood or not, but
no, it was a really rough episode.
It was
it like put me into I was like in a fine mood, and then it put me into a really bad mood.
Yeah,
and just letting Davon and David go after each other like that, knowing that there was like like, I get it that they were playing this game intentionally, but like to let people go after each other like that just feels so gross.
It felt really gross.
Definitely ick factor.
Yeah.
It was the entire episode, except for maybe 2 full minutes, was about Davon and David, or Davon not trusting David and his voting with them. And I had thoughts on that. It was frustrating that they don't show some of the other arguments that happen or some of the other discussions that happen. And, you know, we've been talking about race a lot in this. It was hard to watch an entire episode of 2 of the people of color left in the house fighting with each other the entire week. I don't know. I wasn't sure if we should talk about this. Actually, Ellen and I, we forgot to talk about this on the other show. But during their confrontation, actually, I don't think I'm going to say it.
I don't think you should either.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
can I know though?
Well, we'll tell you after.
Right now, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Okay,
tell
tell
you
me
after.
Tell me after the episode.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if I'm like
know.
allowed to say that as a white person. So
I don't know if you really should.
I'm just gonna wait, and we'll talk about it after. But so let's go back. Davon doesn't trust David. It was also very frustrating to me that Davon trusted Nicole so wholeheartedly.
I do feel like this was David's fault. And I feel like a lot of people don't think that from what I was reading online, but it's what I feel. I feel like you've spent literally, I mean, not just because he lied about not having the power, or lied and said that he didn't have the power and didn't save himself, but beyond that, like the entire season, he has talked to everybody in such a sketchy way that he has built a relationship with literally 100% of the people in the house. That is that they don't fully trust him because he doesn't give them any information. So then it's his fault, in my opinion. I don't see a way in which it's not his fault. And well, yes, it's frustrating that Davon doesn't have this perfect read where she knows and that she fell for Nicole's tricks. I still just feel like it's a David issue. I feel like he just messed up.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's hard because you really, really want to blame Danny and Nicole for this and Davon, but you know, Davon can only do so much. She's only seeing what she's seeing.
Yeah, I mean, like from week 1, David was having a hard time forming any kind of alliances. He like started with Tyler a little bit, and Bailey and Davon were the ones who like took him in, and partially because it was they wanted to like stick up for each other, and then he never followed through on that really, which is fine since it's a competition, but also, you know, that's like one of the most interesting things about the whole show, and specifically this week, is like, what is the trade-off and like the constant bargaining you're doing inside of like, am I coming off as a good person, or just, you know, your own, not coming off as a good person, having your own actual set of ethics, which like Davon made very clear this week that she had ethics that she wasn't gonna subvert. But
Yeah, I feel like on the part of Nicole and Dan, it's hard to watch because it does feel like Mean Girls. It feels like they're just like they played this really mean move, but at the same time, it was a move, and it is fun to see something happening in the house to some extent. Like that was actual gameplay that we were watching, and so while it was frustrating because it didn't help. Like even by this point, I kind of like David just because he's entertaining and I want him to be in the house. So it didn't benefit and hurt 2 people that I like in the house. It's frustrating to watch, but at base level, like they're doing something, and that is interesting. And they made a game move, and it's very kind of an old school game move, which is just like being blatantly mean.
Well, and that's kind of where I was going with what I was talking about, is that like you don't want to see it happen because you like Davon.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Also, that's actually how you play Big Brother. So they're doing the right thing, and it is hard to watch, especially when it's against somebody that you really like. But at the same time, it personally made me like Danny and Nicole a little more, because I'm like, those are some cojones.
Yeah,
it made me like Danny a lot more specifically. I'm still Nicole. I feel like ruined it for me by the end because she always wants to have her cake and eat it too. She always wants to be able to do the worst thing possible
and still be liked.
And at the end of the episode, Davon specifically was like, I came to her and tried to level with her on a personal level. And of course, Nicole should not have given up her game while Davon was still in the house. She had to wait, but at the same time, like, I don't know. This has now happened several times throughout the season.
Yeah. She does try to have her cake and eat it too. She tries to play it off like she's still just this sweet, innocent girl. And it's like,
admit you are playing the game like Danny, who says, I am manipulating people and I love it.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's the thing is there's a big difference. I think with the Big Brother fandom on Twitter and stuff now, they blur the line between, they want to love the person that they're rooting for and also have that person make big game moves, in the sense that they want them to be a nice person who also makes huge game moves. And it doesn't really exist when you're playing this game that the entire basis of it is to eliminate people. It's like, it doesn't really work like that. So while the person in the house I probably would be most afraid to be friends with is Danny, I don't think I would trust her as a friend if she was someone I knew in real life. I do think that she has cool gameplay and she's doing things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a difference between these two things, whether I like them as a person or as a player.
Yeah. So then on Wednesday, it was the veto episode, and it kind of started with Davon and Kevin's like friendship moment, which was very sweet. But I have to say, I don't buy it because I can't trust anything Kevin ever says. So like as it was going on, I was like, he could literally be sitting in front of Enzo and saying the same thing.
And he literally over and over again was like, he kept repeating the same line. You've changed my life, or some variation on that. And he literally, it felt like a canned phrase that he was just like,
yeah.
And I was like, why is Davon really buying this? Because if someone just kept telling me like, you've changed my life in the Big Brother house, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, it was just a little, like, I know they meant it to be very genuine, and maybe between the two of them it was, but it didn't feel it.
Yeah. The only reason why I would maybe buy that it's genuine is that so many people, it feels like, have said similar things to her in the house, like even in past seasons, that it's like, well, maybe she's just that amazing to be around in person.
Yeah, could
Off
be.
Off screen, she's working some magic where she's like a therapist and changing people's lives. But it always happens totally off screen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's always when the live feeds are down. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard there was some controversy with that this week.
Yes, the live feeds were down for 24 hours.
It was a little less than that, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little wild. Ellen and I go into depth about it in our live feeds episode.
I'll check out the episode.
Yeah. And then we also saw more and more of Memphis, which makes me so happy. And I mean, every time he's on there, he just seems like a jerk, but not a villain, just like a jerk, like just a bad guy.
Yeah. And like weirdly, this is the first week I've sort of come around to him, because like what it, at the end, like what it keeps coming back to is the people I'm the most mad at are people like Cody, Tyler, and Nicole, who want to come off as nice as possible on TV while they're playing this competition game.
Yeah.
And I get that that's also part of the internal game of the house, is you have to seem like you're not threatening people and you don't have some master strategy. But specifically, Nicole, Tyler, and Cody are people who you have no doubt, if you're in the house with them and you don't think they have some master long-term strategy, what are you thinking? And so for someone like, Memphis to come along, who's just an unrelenting asshole, and like everything he did this week it was just so, he seemed like a cop, frankly, this whole week. He was like, here's the law, you better follow it or you're out of the house. And it's like, you do not have that sway that you think you do. But at the end of the day, like, at least that's just like who he is, and he cannot like for better or frankly for much, much worse. He cannot like escape that.
Turn it off. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because for me, the type of player I like, it's like this sweet spot between an evil player, but it's not someone who's power hungry at all. You know, like Dr. Will it's everybody's favorite player, but he's my favorite player. And the reason is because he didn't win anything. He just controlled the house and manipulated them. And in that sense, like he was super evil, but he was also charming. And it wasn't all about controlling everyone like to their face in a way. It was like a secret. And something about Memphis is like, all right, now leave. Like he said that on the episode last night to somebody. He was like, okay, now leave, get out of here. Like I think it was Christmas
I
or
think,
someone.
yeah.
It's just like, what are you doing? It's just someone who really like perceives that they are so much bigger and better. And it's so funny because he probably tells himself like, no, I'm not like that, because when other people are HOH, I know how to shut up and just like follow their rules. And it's like, no, you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting until you're HOH again so that things could be back to like what you think of as like quote unquote normal. It's just,
yeah.
It's just really, it's embarrassing to watch, honestly.
Yeah. And, you know, it's, with Memphis, one of the things that I loved about, I think it was this episode, maybe it was Sunday, but when Tyler called him out in the DR and was like, I know you want to be the alpha in this house, but I'm not a beta. Like, and I was like, that is exactly
Debatable.
that. No, I think Tyler's got this on lock. I think he's the winner.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I think he's so good at this game. He has a way with people, and I think that he is an alpha dressed as a beta. He acts like he's not in charge, but he 100% is in charge.
I agree. I very much agree with it. That's why I'm like, I'm progressing to a worse and worse opinion of Tyler.
Oh.
Because of I think he definitely has, you know, I totally agree that he's a great chance winning the game. But there is this like, it's that same thing of just, he spent like the first episode of the week, I think, kind of trashing Davon in the DR, and then kind of tried to pull it off like they were still friends at the end, and that he was rooting for her at some point, but I don't think that's the case really. But I think he's a, you know, great player.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, but I think him and Memphis against each other is very fun to watch, to be honest with you, because they're both aggressive in very, very different ways. Like that conversation,
they're gonna go after each other real soon, I think.
Yeah, and that conversation they had in the Heart Room was like, that was fun. That was fun to watch.
It was very fun to watch. I can't believe that he was able to convince Memphis like that easily.
I was shocked. Yeah,
that's when I was like, oh, okay, so cool. I'm on Team Tyler now.
Yeah, it was a cool move. It's like now we're like grasping onto these little things that are happening, because we're like, that was a cool move, and then this was a cool move, and it's like, I don't know. It's
hopefully
bad, but
hopefully Danny has something like so wild up her sleeve that it sends everything into chaos next week. I don't have any faith that that'll actually happen.
Yeah.
Because clearly David and Kevin are on the block next week, but
yeah, probably. Depending.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine anyone else.
Oh, did you freeze? Oh, it looked like you froze for a sec. Sorry.
Me?
One thing I want to. Are you there?
Yeah.
Sorry. I got it. Looked like you were frozen. One thing that I wanted to bring up about this Vito episode was, can we just talk for a quick second about how Enzo's full name is Vincenzo?
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I didn't see that coming.
Wait, I don't think we're there yet. We're not at that point of the show yet, because
what?
Sam, you got to finally see Zingbot.
Now
no one warned me.
No, this is my absolute favorite episode of Big Brother every single year. Zingbot is what I look forward to. I could stop watching the rest of the season and I'll be fine. Like, this is my episode. So Zingbot comes in, and they know he's coming. They don't know when, but they know he's coming. And he zings everyone. And sometimes they're worse than others. So I think we should just do a quick recap of some of kind of just who got zinged with what. So these are out of order. I apologize. But so Cody his zing was that he was dumb. Was about his IQ level. Okay, that's medium.
That one was a little unexpected to me. I like didn't see that coming.
I think honestly, that they gave him such a bad zing on his other season that they.
I don't remember it.
So on his other season, he was. I mean, I don't want to say he was doing anything with her. I don't know if he was or not. But it was with Christine, and she was married, and then Zingbot said something about him breaking up their marriage, and then their marriage broke up. And she got booed on the way out. Like, it was a whole thing. And so I think that they sort of gave him like a softball this time because they were like, we murdered him last time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're probably right about that.
And then Zingbot, they basically, they called him a turd, which is the truth. I don't even think he got it, but they called him a number 2.
Who? Oh, Memphis. Yeah. Memphis.
Yeah. David, that was a softball too, because it's like, I don't know. For me, it was like, duh, yeah, you're not an all-star because you were on for like an episode before this. Kevin, he said that he was boring. And then let's just listen to what Zingbot said about Christmas.
I love it.
Christmas! Uh-oh. What's the difference between you and the holiday season?
Oh, God.
One is cold, stress-inducing, and annoying, and one is the holiday season.
This is my favorite part, though.
We have to live with Christmas after this, Zingbot. Shut up.
They're all scared of her, and they probably should be. So I thought that was a pretty good zing.
Well, it's also funny because when Zingbot says things, it's a tiny glimpse for the house guests into what America thinks of them.
Totally.
Because Zingbot isn't going to go completely off of what if America thought Christmas was super charming and sweet and fun to watch, then Zingbot wouldn't have said that. So
yeah, there has to be an element of truth, or it's not a real insult.
So I love that it's like her first. She's like, "Oh no, what do they think of me?"
Yeah, exactly. And then Tyler, his was something about, I think after his other season, he said that he still won the game, even though he didn't get the money because he got the girl. And
yeah,
and then they were like, "But you're still a loser. Like, you still
what do you
call?"
Well, no, they called him a liar. Oh, you have it?
Yeah, it says, "What do you call someone who says the real winner gets the girl, not the 500K? A liar."
Which isn't even really like I don't know. That one was another softball for me.
Yeah, I was like, what is that even?
Days was kind of harsh.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to lose on next? Which show are you going to lose on next?
But it didn't affect her at all.
Oh, God, no.
Whatever.
She's all, I lose everything. I get it.
Yeah.
And then there was Nicole. So before we listen to Nicole's, I wanted to play for you guys what Enzo had what he thought Nicole's zing should be.
I could see them maybe something to Nicole, like, you have hooked up with just as much people as Danny has nominated.
Oh my God. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, that's...
Because, Sam, if you didn't watch those seasons, but Nicole she hooked up with 2 people. Wait, she's been on 3 seasons. She had a boy in each season, right? Mm-hmm. Is this her 3rd or 4th season?
This is her 3rd.
3rd. Okay, so she...
I think.
God, I can't even remember now. So she dated Hayden from her first season. Then she dated that loser tall guy that never said anything.
He was obsessed with the holiday Christmas.
Oh, that's right. He was so weird and so
I thought
boring.
It was so funny.
And so
he was like the most boring person in the world. Then he was like, "But I love Christmas."
Yeah. So she then hooked up with him on that other season, but she was on that season with her now husband also. So
yeah, she left the season and then got engaged to somebody different from that season.
Yes.
So she just loves Big Brother
She
boys.
she really does. I mean, I guess they're fairly attractive, but let's listen to her actual zing.
A song for you. Here comes the bride. She loves to whine and cry. Every time I hear her voice, I want to.
That's pretty harsh, but also not untrue.
And I'm sure she's like heard that before.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
I think
if this is the first time someone's told her voice is annoying, then that's
yeah.
surprising.
I think she was pretty broken up about it. I think it was more the like that people would rather die than listen to her. I think that was the part that really got her.
Yeah, that is harsh.
It's a little harsh. But honestly, Nicole's zing I didn't think was as harsh as Danny's. Danny's was short and sweet.
Yeah.
He called her old.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just mean.
Yeah, I was kind of like, whoa. I had never even really thought about that. I think she looks like pretty young for, I don't really actually know what her age is, but
she's in her probably early 30s.
She doesn't look old. I mean, she's one of the older players, but they're all one of the older players now.
Right. And I think Christmas looks way older than her. Actually, Nicole without makeup looks way older than her. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen those pictures, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That was a mean one.
It was a little weird.
And I'm sure that one actually got to her. She's like, what? She's like looking in the mirror, wrinkles.
Yeah, she's gonna call Janelle after the show. What creams do you use? Just tell me.
Exactly. She's like, I use Dr. Will. He's a plastic surgeon.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then there was the veto comp, which I don't think we've ever seen one quite like this before. It was a big maze.
Yeah.
And they had to put different variations of alien tigers into their cages.
One more of those. I feel like there could have been some better design.
No, it was terrible.
The tigers. I don't know what was up there. It felt rushed.
Well, not only rushed, but also, and Big Brother does this, but they're behind the times. Like, Tiger King was very 3 months ago. Like, we're kind of over it by now, but whatever.
What channel is Dancing with the Stars on? It's ABC. I was going to say maybe they're trying to cross promote because Carol Baskin is going to be on Dancing with the Stars, but it's a different channel. So
yeah, it's funny. I
had some weird watching this comp was like it was a little annoying at times because there were a couple things that people did that I was like, this is a timed comp. Like, what are you doing?
Really ran except for
Tyler.
Memphis and Tyler,
right? And so like Nicole literally went and fixed the tiger. Like, she put it down and then she fixed it. I'm like, are you 12 years old?
And so many of them,
it doesn't have feelings.
A couple of them, saw when they first went in, they saw the first tiger. And then they were like, okay, noted, that's there. And then they ran away without it. And at first I was like, oh, that must just be a rule or something.
I had that same question too.
It was like, wait, why don't you just grab them all or something?
Yeah, why wouldn't you find all 3 tigers first, hold them by like the tail or something, so you can just drag them through the maze as fast as possible?
Well, they did say they had to do one at a time, but my thought is that you still grab the first one. You can still drop it somewhere, go get the like. I feel like there was a way to work this, and then everyone was opening the cage except for Danny. Danny threw hers over, and I was like, "Thank you. What are you all doing?"
It gave me a lot of Danny points. Like, I really am into Danny right now. And it was kind of surprising. It made a big sharp turn, but I guess that's what happens when all you have is what's left.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that she was going to go for it too, in spite of Memphis. Which was like, that's not even the best move she should have made, really, in terms of where she is in the competition. But like, it showed some integrity on her part, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so I think that Davon proved my point that I made in one of our earlier episodes, that she can't win comps because she's always putting on a show.
Yes.
She was talking. It was great to watch as an audience member. It was awesome. She was having fun. She was talking to us. She's like making her little Davon quips. She's like scared of the tiger. Like, all these things are happening, but it's like, you also had to win this and you got literally the slowest time. Like, just play the game.
It's like, I don't understand when you're on the block and you're mad at everyone, why you don't just like sprint
use that to fuel you.
There was hardly, almost never see people fully sprint. It's like, no, this is your time. Like, what is the reason that you're not sprinting? I don't have one reason. Like, unless you're throwing eviction and you're really tired from the last comp, like, or you're throwing it, like, you should be running as absolutely fast as you can.
Absolutely. You're literally not doing anything all day long.
Yeah. This is your exercise.
Right. You're
not going to be allowed outside again. Maybe that's why they're like milking their outside time for all it's worth, because the wall yellers are forcing them to stay inside.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just weird. And then, so I forget. Oh, Tyler won veto. And he didn't use it, of course. He had no reason to, which was fine. Then Davon's speech was kind of weird. I was hearing about it on Twitter before I saw it, and Twitter made it sound, or like on the feeds, they made it sound like it was this huge deal. Like Christmas was going off about it, and like she shouldn't have said all that stuff. And then what they showed, unless they didn't show it all, I was like, she didn't really say anything. Like it wasn't.
That's what I thought too. I was like, what? I was waiting for some crazy. I was really excited, actually.
Me too.
Like the only part of it that I was, I mean, quote unquote, wrong is that like she called out David, which wasn't totally fair, but she didn't know. You know, she didn't have the perspective yet to know that she was wrong in that situation.
Yeah, and no one else.
It was like very tame
about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
weird.
And then well, and then we get to Thursday, I think. So, but before we get to Thursday, it's really important that we talk about
All right. So, Julie Chen last night was wearing a lilac. Is that what you would call that color? I was trying to decide what the color was.
Lavender, lilac.
It was a little more pink in it, though. Too, like a pinky lilac. It was different, and like the Instagram post she posted looked different than it looked on stage. But
okay, interesting.
But I'm assuming silk sheath dress.
Yeah.
And then she was wearing some like
silk is maybe generous because it didn't look. I'm looking at it now, and the.
A silky dress.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hear the benefit of the doubt. And then some pearl like little drop earrings, then lots of beads, her classic crosses, and then she was wearing these shoes that I'm pretty sure were clear. They were like stiletto pumps that I'm pretty sure were clear on the heel, and then were like
silver,
like titanium toes.
Yeah. They were weird.
Yeah. It was more of a normal look than she sometimes does. I think the color was very pretty and looked good on her, and the dress was pretty, but it didn't fit. When she turned, at first I was like, either like she has a different shaped body than I thought, or like it doesn't fit her in the waist. And then when she turned to the screen, the back of it, like you could see it moving. There was like a bubble of space between her body and the dress in the back, in the waist in the back, like right where it's supposed to like cinch in.
Interesting.
So I don't know. It was just, it didn't fit right. And I feel like it was a pretty dress that was a little mother of the bridey, but
definitely
it wasn't, that's not a terrible thing. I mean, it's not that far off from something, I don't know, it wasn't terrible, but it just didn't fit.
Yeah, I just felt like she was going to a wedding, and I didn't hate it. I was like, oh, it's good. I didn't feel like it was the right color for her. It really like washed her out to me.
Yeah, it's funny because I hated the color on screen, and then when I saw it in her Instagram photo, I was like, oh, that looks nice on her. I forgot. It actually looked good.
The whole thing on Instagram looked so much better than
Oh, interesting.
on TV.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is a confusing one for me to rate because I liked it on Instagram, but based on just the show,
can we rate it as steel-toed heels?
Yes, steel-toed heels. Oh gosh, I would give this. I'm gonna give this a solid 3 steel-toed heels.
Okay. Oh, that's actually pretty generous from the way you guys were talking about it. I liked it. It looked like work attire to me, or wedding attire.
I hate to make this compare. I actually really like this outfit, but also to me it said like fashion Dobby the Elf a little bit.
Oh, jeez.
In terms of how it fit, and the color just like, it looks a little bit like it's made of a bed sheet, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it's a little toga-y.
And that's why I said not silk, because it literally looks like that that more like polyester satin that most sheets are made of.
Wow.
But I loved it.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, thank you for the Julie Chen Moonves outfit review. All right, so now we're in Thursday. We're in the live eviction. But before Thursday, and like I said, we went over this a lot, there was a big controversy, like Sam was talking about, on the live feeds. So there was apparently, I think it's important to discuss it so that it all goes together. There was a wall yeller that supposedly Davon and Kevin were in the backyard on the hammock, and somebody yelled over the wall, Nicole flipped on Ian. And cut to stars, which stars means that the feeds cut. And the feeds then were cut for about 23 hours, which has never happened. We've never seen that happen before. They cut for 10 minutes at a time. Sometimes if they're doing a game, sometimes a couple hours. It's never been 22, 23 hours.
Yeah, even wall yellers, when they do happen, it's like at most a couple hours. And even that's like, people are like, whoa.
Yeah, so this was a big deal. There's a lot of speculation on what happened, blah, blah, blah. But what some spoiler accounts have said is that during this blackout of feeds, Davon had a confrontation with Nicole. And so Davon knew at that point. And so this was Wednesday, 12 a.m. So Wednesday and Thursday, it was blacked out pretty much. All of Wednesday and then part of Thursday. And so I guess, what am I trying to say? So by the time we saw this episode, Davon already knew that that Kevin was correct and Nicole wasn't.
Yeah.
But they didn't show
she already knew
any
how
of
the
that,
vote went.
which I thought was very interesting. But we'll get there. But I felt like we needed to throw that information out there before we really discuss this episode.
Well, yeah, because I went into watching this episode wondering how are they going. We talked about this in our last episode. Like, how are they going to edit this to make it look like it wasn't a wall yeller? And what are they going to do to manipulate the story to look like Davon just found out without a wall yeller?
Yeah. Well, and so one, they sort of didn't.
Yes.
Davon acted.
Yeah.
She was acting. And I was watching it with my husband, and he didn't. I told him, I was like, she's acting right now. She already knows. And he was like, really?
I had no clue. Yeah.
So they did a good job. That's like editing magic. But I was so I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't know. I felt like my brain was exploding because I just kept waiting for it. And then she's in her exit interview and she's pretending like she doesn't know. And also her reaction wasn't as dramatic as I would have expected if she was really just finding out right then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I was worried that they were going to set up a whole scene.
Yeah.
And when the conversation between Kevin and Davon happened in that episode, I was like, oh, here it is. I was like, they reeled in Kevin and told him to tell her this. And I was like, that is a lot of production involvement. Of course it's a TV show, but this show prides itself on having not as much production involvement as some other shows, or at least visibly. And so that at that moment I was pretty disappointed. So for me, it was a little bit better in a way that they seemed to have just told her, you need to play this off when we show you the goodbye messages, you're finding out then.
Yeah, and I also felt like, and I could be completely wrong, this is a little conspiracy theory, but I felt like that whole conversation between Christmas and David, That was very strange to me. Christmas, I honestly don't think that she is smart enough or plays this game well enough to have come up with that plan on her own.
Also, my husband and I paused the show at that point, and we're trying to figure out how Christmas even knew that was how the vote went. Like, I didn't understand that.
Exactly. And, like, it came out of nowhere.
If she didn't know, then she was playing that move where people are like, I know what you did, and then the person's like, I didn't mean it, and they're like, well, now I know what you did. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the move she's playing, then wow, Christmas is so much more of a genius than I thought. But you're right, I don't buy that. Like, I don't understand what was happening at all.
There is a piece missing with that, and we didn't see it on the feed, so we don't know what it is. But I really feel like either something happened while the feeds were off, or, well, maybe that's all that happened. Maybe the house blew up. Maybe Day confronted Nicole, maybe loudly. Maybe everybody in the house knew what happened, and maybe that was filmed or shown and edited. I don't know. I'm trying to work it out. But even
then, Christmas was saying to David, I know how you voted. And he was like, finally, someone who believes me. Like, that doesn't, if that happened after everyone in the house
That's
knew,
true. Then everyone would already
wouldn't
know.
Be, so even then, if that was what happened, then I guess they would have had to tell David to say in the diary room, finally someone believes me. Like, everything about it is like, there's no way that this just played out like this.
I could not connect the dots on that. And so it just screams production involvement to me. But I don't know. That was just very strange to me. I didn't like that Davon decided not to campaign. That she's such a strong person. She hasn't given up. She's been playing this game hard the whole time, and then she gets on the block. She doesn't win the veto, and then she just like, campaigning's not worth. Campaigning to those people are not worth her time. Like, I don't know. I didn't really like that.
I kind of respected that, especially after. Oh, this was another reason that Tyler really took a turn from me this week, is that during the veto, knowing full well he had no chance of using it, kind of asked them to, like, beg him to use it, even though that was never going to be an option.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Tyler, when he won the veto, he made Kevin and Davon. He was like, make your case for why I should use it on you, even though he full well knew.
At the ceremony? Or
that was the veto ceremony, right?
Oh, because that's they have to do that.
They have to say that. Yeah.
Oh, they have to.
Yeah. That's just like that's part of the ceremony.
He must have just been a really good actor that
day. Yeah, he gotcha.
Yeah, no, but anyways, where was I going with this?
Sorry,
but
Davon,
but she started that decision-making process of not fighting for it at that veto moment, because she, in that veto speech, was like, I'm not going to ask for it because I know it's not going to me, basically.
Yeah.
And so for her to, it's like a hard thing, but like at some point you have to admit she knew enough of what was going on in the house that she did not have a chance. And so to sort of take the road of like, I have to just make peace. Like I'm so glad she made peace with it on TV in front of everyone to show like this act of strength of knowing like this is not your day to win, and that's kind of okay.
Yeah.
And to start that like preparation and that making peace as best as possible and as like dignified as possible.
I think it said a lot when she was talking about how she's like, I am sick of feeling like a peasant in the house, and there's all these people that are in control, and she didn't want to beg to them anymore. And like, I get that. And
I do too.
So even though, I do wish that maybe she had campaigned a little bit more. I get it.
I just think she could have beat Kevin. I feel like she's smart enough. She could have. I mean, she had Danny and Nicole. They are sort of on the outskirts, but they have a voice with people. Danny definitely has a voice with Cody. I just feel like there was a way. If there was a way to dupe Day the way that she got duped, there was a way for her to stay. I don't think. I feel like there was a chance.
This specific season, though, I don't know how it's gone another season, but this specific season, the once the committee has like chosen, it seems like unless someone is winning vetoes, it's like there has not been a chance where that turned around. And like that episode where when was the last time this sort of happened? Because like I could totally see Kaser having, worked his way out of it too.
That's true.
And he sort of gave up. He was in a similar situation where he knew his fate was sealed to some degree. And
maybe it's a self-preservation thing too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like bigger than the game. It's like I'm sick of doing this in the real world too, and so I just don't really like doing it on TV right now.
Totally.
And Devon certainly, like, I think said that almost explicitly, that she needs to start living like much more actively by her values, and felt like she was losing that purely in this season.
Yeah, it was I mean, I think you're probably right. And so then her eviction speech right before they all went was amazing.
Oh my God,
it was so good. It's probably the best eviction speech I've ever seen.
Yeah.
She was great, and I loved that what we saw was reaction shots from all the white faces.
Yes.
And them being so incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like Christmas was like, I'm totally an ally. Yes. And it's like, that was just coming from a deep discomfort. Like, she's not.
No, there was a moment.
I've never seen a jaw so clenched before.
Yeah, there was a moment in last night's episode, and I can't remember what it is now, but I loathed her so much that, like, I don't even want to see
Christmas?
her. Yeah, I don't want to see her on the screen. Like, I dislike her personality, that type of person, so much that, like, I don't want to see it anymore. Like, I wish she would just go away.
Really sick of her too.
Her being so pressed about the whole have-nots this week too.
Yeah.
Like, that was.
Come on, like,
get over yourself. Yeah,
she's such a brat.
Yeah.
Memphis's face during the speech, I thought it looked to me, how I read it, was that this is maybe the first he's ever thought about this, about his like privilege.
Yeah.
Because he did sort of have this look like, whoa. And I mean, certainly there was like probably, I don't know, but yeah, that's what I saw.
That's
yeah.
Really
I kind of hope that it gave them a little bit of a wake up call. I doubt it, but I hope. And then, Devon left. We saw the goodbye messages. I think she already knew before she saw him and was acting, blah, 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 blah. But then we finally found out about the neighbor. Been waiting all week.
Dr. Will.
So
did you know who this was, Sam?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, see? You've heard the
common
name.
Conversation, but I don't know anything like personally about him. And he looked like to me, he looked like a villain out of like Blade Runner, like an 80s sci-fi movie.
Yeah, he looked like Max Headroom to me. Maybe you guys are too young to know who that is.
That is his definitely. General vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good to see him. I always liked Dr. Will. I did think he looked very plastic. I was like,
he looked crazy.
You doing surgery on yourself?
That's his thing.
Yeah.
So
he wants to continue looking good. And so he announced the big giant twist, which is that there's going to be prizes or power. And it's like, that's literally not a twist. That's just what you guys do.
I was really worried for a sec that was all we were going to get.
Yes. And then they announce all the schedule for next week. And we find out for the first time since I can remember watching, there's a triple eviction.
Yeah, there's never been one in the U.S. before, Big Brother U.S.
I am so stoked for this. I can't even wait. And so it doesn't, for me personally, this has like heightened my wanting to watch again, because I don't even care who wins HOH this week, because it almost doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's so funny because it's like CBS is like, oh, wait, you hate everybody that's left in the house? Cool. Well, we'll do a triple eviction.
Totally.
We'll just get rid of that. We'll end it quick.
Yeah. I love it. I'm so excited
So
Yeah.
Sorry, does a triple eviction mean 3 people are going home in 1 week?
Yeah.
Or 3 people be on the block?
So usually they do a double eviction. So they'll do basically somebody goes home at the very beginning of the episode from the previous week, and then they do HOH, veto, and then send somebody else home all in one episode.
Within one episode.
Got it.
So
Just
this time they're going to
down
really fast.
so that we get to the jury quicker.
Yeah, so they do a whole week in one episode. So now they're going to do 2 weeks in one episode. So we're going to
Yeah, so I'm interested because in Big Brother Canada, they do triple evictions, and so I'm interested to see if it's going to be how they do it there, which is where they nominate 3 people. Like they do the regular week happens, and then when it's time for the quote unquote double eviction or whatever, instead they nominate 3 people.
Interesting.
And then the house guests vote for who stays.
Oh.
So they have a lot of the same production team for Canada. Like even the casting director, believe it or not, is the same, even though they have way better casts in Canada. But so I'm curious to see you would think that's what it would be, but I really hope that they just tell them that it's a double eviction and then they do the whole thing and then they are like, house guests, sit back on the couch, and then they tell them it's another one.
I really want it to be 2 full weeks because that to me would be very exciting. They'd be exhausted by the end of it. It's a 2-hour episode, so I feel like they have time to do it.
It would be like what is that, 4 games? It would be a lot.
Yeah.
So wait, what is the HOH? How's their involvement this week? Are they not nominating anyone? Or?
No, they will.
It's a normal
they don't
week.
know.
Yeah.
They won't know this until Thursday, until it's live.
So there's a potential Kevin wins HOH and gets to put 3 people on the block.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but...
Well, and the HOH competition with a double eviction is always a crapshoot because it has to be. You can't... I mean, it has to be very fast, a very fast game, and it's like doom, doom, doom. Now you're HOH, go choose people. Okay, now we play veto. Like it's rapid fire.
Yeah, and usually, you know what? Here's the bright side of a season with this many players you dislike in the house at this point is so often the double eviction happens, and there's like 3 people in the house I cherish, and then like boat 2 of them go home.
Yeah.
In the double eviction, it's always someone that I didn't want to leave goes home in the double eviction. But in this case, there are the rest of the house are people that I do not care about. So,
anybody can go.
I just hope it's not Enzo just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I really don't care at all.
And then we're also going to see Wednesday's episode is going to be OTEV, which is a very classic Big Brother competition that you'll get to see, Sam. It's veto.
A reverse veto or a jumbled veto? Or...
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
Well, kind of. But it's just funny that he caught that because you had said at the beginning of this podcast, Taryn, that you didn't know that it was
Are you keeping like friggin' historical notes on what I say?
Jesus. I just remembered because I thought it was funny, and Sam just immediately knows what it is.
Yeah, well, Sam's smarter than me. All right.
I'm specifically good with anagrams. That's all it is.
Got
Math, nothing.
Cool, everyone. All right, let's just do our stupid draft update. I hate everyone. You're both fired.
All right. So the draft right now it's Taryn, you have 7.
Okay.
I have 5, and Sam has 8. And what's interesting is you can see behind me.
Yes, Vanna, show us.
5, that we each have 3 people left in our teams exactly, which is
how did that work out?
I think is really strange, but I guess that's the nature. That just means that we like the draft worked, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it just means that we like drafted the strongest players first, and that kind of
statisticians. Someone tell us what the chances of that working out like that are.
Yeah, but I will say that for the winner, for me, I have Tyler, and then I have Kevin and David left. So
ooh, rough.
I'm really, really hoping Tyler wins it.
You're about to have a rough week, I think.
Yeah. Sam's looking good. You have Memphis, Cody, and Enzo.
Yeah.
Oh, that is good.
And I only really like Enzo.
So I have the 3 girls who hate each other.
Girls.
Cool. I can't believe I have Christmas. Anybody want to trade? Can we trade?
For Memphis?
Oh no. That's just as bad. That's literally just as bad. Well, I like the draft. I think you did a really good job with it. I like finding out that I'm not losing.
Yeah, I've been losing the entire time, but you just wait when Tyler wins this.
Yeah.
I think you mean David.
Yeah, when David was my pick to win, and you know what? You never know.
There you go. Well, you guys, I don't know about you, but I am like the most excited. I was super excited for this week that we're talking about because of Zingbot, but now I'm even more excited to see a triple eviction happen. I think that's going to be the best time. So I can't wait. I don't know how I'm going to stay up so late on a Thursday, but we'll just figure it out.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Yeah. It's a big one. But yeah, I'm excited. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't even care about HOH, which is like the best part. Like I feel stress-free right now, and that feels really good. I haven't felt that way watching this show yet.
I think that's how Devon felt leaving too. And so that's why it didn't like hurt as bad as like some other evictions this season, because she was just like, listen, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, it's true.
Just let
she
me
even
go.
said that. She's like, I'm sick of those people.
Yeah,
I'd love to see someone. Does anyone ever have a full breakdown as they leave and like start weeping and claw at the house to stay? And
no, I don't think so.
People get mad and have stormed out without hugging it.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes more sense, but I would love to see someone like try to physically not leave.
That would be wild. Keep me in here.
I think it's more prevalent that people self-evict than try desperately to stay.
Yeah.
Which says something.
Yeah, getting out of that environment seems like, even if you wanted that money so bad, leaving that situation is probably
a breath,
like literally a breath of fresh air.
Totally. All right, you guys. Well, I thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to support us, you can on Patreon, patreon.com/housemeeting. Thank you, Ellen and Sam, for joining me. And I can't wait for Triple Eviction next week. We'll see you at the next house meeting. All right. You know what I realized? You know how you guys always talk at the end of the song? I forgot that I can mute you. So now I mute you, and then it's not an issue. Jason reminded me of that yesterday, and I was like, he's like, well, do you mute them at the same time? And I was like, oh, I forgot. All right. Bye, YouTube guys. Thanks for joining. Oh,